Friday night sports show, repeated Saturday mornings with Jason the Flowman.
Really exciting times for country sport across South Australia and Victoria.
Football and netball in country Australia is life.
Each week, tackling the big talking points in country footy and netball.
He's a ripper. He tries his guts out every time, and we love playing with boys like that.
This is an arch rivalry that goes back generations.
The teams, the ins, the outs, the key matchups, and the big games of the round.
Pinaroo have been recruiting brilliantly.
When it comes September, he gives another gear, that boy, and up and about the way he goes.
It's all about the mental toughness. You're going to be challenged.
Friday nights and repeated Saturday mornings covering your local footy and netball leagues.
That is true. It is a record that will never be broken.
4 footy sides in, all 4 win their grand finals. It's never been done.
They did it with absolute class.
The Friday night sports show with Jace and Wayne the Flowman on your colour of sporting country life. Flow FM.
Oh, yes, indeed. We are away once more. The Flow Friday Night Sports Show with the Statman and the Flowman live from our Roseworthy studios. We're heading across the state over the next couple of hours to find out what's going on in footy and netball. Flowman, how are you?
Oh, really well. The brightness of the new studios, the colour of the lights here. It is a wonderful scene. The shimmering of the lights off of that horrible, horrible yellow-looking tracksuit top that you are wearing. Where did you get that from?
This is the mighty Adelaide Crows' new line of merch. I'm not exactly sure if it's a bootleg or what, but Mum got it for me for my birthday, so I could not wear it.
Oh, I tell you what, I wished you didn't, but anyway...
Thank you, Mum.
Yeah, it looks beautiful for those that are getting out and about.
It fell off the back of a truck.
It looks like the actual away jumper for the Adelaide Crows, the same really bright yellow colour.
Actually, I think it fell off the back of a horse, but that's another topic for another day. Excuse me.
Oh, I'll tell you what, we've got a big program ahead of us, that is for sure. He's lost it over the other side there. Oh, hang on, I've just turned him down, but we are getting stuck into what is going to be a big show tonight, Jason. We've got a lot to get through. Getting over to Western Eyre football, there is a huge amount happening in that league because the new side's coming in, a couple of teams emerging as the powerful clubs. We'll find out more about that from Brad Bowman.
Looking forward to it. Plenty happening as in the netball, as we heard earlier on, but so much football over the next couple of hours to talk about in this hour. We're going to have a look at what's going on in Eastern Eyre and Great Flinders football as well. Looking forward to catching up with the greatest goal kicker in South Australian country football history, exclusive to us here on the Flow Friday Night Sports Show, Flowman.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be good.
Prime.
Yeah, good too. So to get into the Barossa Light and Gawler with Kim, Vivian, and a bit later on, we're going to have the Big Beaver on the Riverland. Plus, you and I are going to get through some northern areas with Spud, and also great to be able to have a look at what's happening with northeastern footy.
Very quickly, I don't know about you, but we've been following the prison bar debate with Port Adelaide through the week.
No.
I won't spend too much time on this, but I do think there is a solution to everyone's problem.
Yep.
I think we need a fight to the death between Koshy and Eddie Maguire. Think about this.
Yep.
Winner gets the bars, prison bars, literally.
Yes.
And the loser, we don't have to worry about anymore. So everyone's a winner, I reckon. Make it happen.
You can present the winner of the fight, that horrible yellow top that you're wearing tonight. It's a Friday night sports show. We're repeating on Saturday morning. Let's get to it.
For all your welding fabrication needs and steel supplies, you need West Coast Welding. From general rural engineering and fabrication to structural steel and aluminium welding to trays with toolboxes and water tanks. They can even help with maintaining your fishing fleet, including aluminium boats and trailers. And they have a range of lifting and rigging gear too. A local family-run business, West Coast Welding, 2 Reading Road, Streaky Bay. Phone 8626 1817.
Great Batch Agencies. You need some mechanical repairs done, mate? Yeah, we're here for the job. Of course we can do your truck. We repair all vehicles. You want a new trailer too? Yeah, mate. We stock the best trailer co in all sizes. Your air conditioner's playing up again. We'll sort you. If you can't come into the workshop, we'll meet you out on the farm. We've got everything a farmer needs.
Great Batch Agencies Wirralur. A great batch of products for a great batch of farmers. 8626 8021.
IGA Thevenard is great service and savings for you on groceries, meats, deli lines, fresh fruit and veg, and at convenient opening hours. 8 till 8, 7 days a week. With more than 800 weekly specials from IGA to help with the family budget. Also new lines including ready-to-eat pizzas, Nature's Protein, JC Nut Range, ready-made salads and more. Delivering grocery orders to Far West farmers, stations, roadhouses and missions. Plus phone orders and delivery for minimum $100 in Ceduna and Thevenard. Shop with the locals at IGA Thevenard, opposite Thevy Oval, or phone 8625 2175.
Rob Montgomery, your local earth-moving specialist serving the West Coast. Got solid rock on your property? Rob has the rock breaker and all the gear to crush them, including a 22-tonne excavator and a breaker for trenching rocks. Need to dig a new septic or house and shed preparation? Rob is the man to call. Or if you need the equipment, Rob has four-wheeled loaders, bobcats, water tankers, semi-side tippers, road trains and low loaders for hire. If you've got a mountain of work, call Rob Montgomery today, 0427 060 755.
What do N&C Ag stand for? What about New Holland Curtis's on the Upper Eyre Peninsula? They're service agents for parts and repairs.
Yeah, they have genuine new parts or aftermarkets for your red, green or yellow tractor and header.
They're nice and central, and they can get the job done in the workshop or on the farm when you really need it.
That's right, mechanical, auto, electrical, aircons, but what do N&C Ag actually stand for?
Well, you'll have to ask Noel and Christine. Give them a call.
Ask Noel and Christine at N&C Ag Warilla. Phone 8626 8042.
Tackling the big talking points in country footy and netball.
His pass is magnificent.
The Friday Night Sports Show.
Here it comes.
With Jason the Flowman.
It's a grand sight.
On your colour of sporting country life. Flow FM.
The Flow FM Sports Show, Western Eyre Football. Yes, we are back. It's the Flow Friday Night Sports Show, Western Eyre Football going beautifully at the moment. Some very interesting results in A-grade matches last week. And
yes.
Oh, yeah.
Brad Bowman, he's an expert.
Let's bring him in. Brad Bowman, how are you, sir?
I'm well. How are you tonight?
Yeah, we're good, Brad. Now, Brad, you've been up in this area for about 18 years, both teaching and working in the bank. It's a parochial place, and everyone sort of says, you know, which is your home team? And even when you do the footy report for us, everyone still wants to kind of gouge your eyes out on the weekend as to whether you're favouring some home side. So have you got a soft spot or an affinity for anybody?
Well, probably a little bit of an affinity with Blues because I did do a little bit of stuff there with their junior grades a few years ago. But for the last 3 or 4 seasons, I've been the league secretary, so I'm probably a bit across what all clubs do. Well, the former Far West clubs at least.
Yeah, great stuff. And of course, teaching in the area too, a lot happening, and in junior football there's a lot of things happening. Indigenous junior football too, which has been terrific in more recent years. So you do a terrific amount for the league, and we're really pleased you're on board. And of course, you've got a bit of a sporting connection with Kylie. You used to be involved with running the Sejuna Sports Power a few years ago, so that sort of gives you a real essence of sporting knowledge, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Married Kylie Blackham. So, yeah, they had the sports store for many, many years in Sejuna. So, yeah, got to know a lot of people through there.
Excellent. Well, let's get into it. We'll start with the first game of last week, which was Brad Bowman's beloved Blues Football Club, unfortunately going down to the West Coast Hawks, 14-9-93. Just reversed the bus over him. 7-8-50. Sorry about that, Brad, but the Hawks were too good.
Yeah, I had a look at this game. I was really impressed with the way the Hawks played, and really, if you look at the game, Blues had opportunities and they should have been a little bit closer than what they were at half-time, and the Hawks had the wind in the third quarter, and 14 goals to 5 at three-quarter time. The game was basically over, but yeah, it was a good game to watch.
A really good
Excellent.
game.
Another 4 to Matt Doling as well. I think that takes him to 18 for the season. We're just keeping an eye on that.
Yes.
Kobe Colbung as well, 4 goals there. Edmonds 2 for the Blues. Clayton 2, Coleman 2, Chandler. That name again, and Cooper Williams named in their best, along with Doling, Cobung and Hicks for the West Coast Hawks.
Yes, the Doling Watch. We've got that happening week in, week out. There'll be a lot of watching of these boys from the Western United because they are in supremely good form, and they've done the job magnificently here, Brad. They've kicked 18-18 to beat Caneva 4-3. A terrific win there by them. And, gee, some of the names in that side, some Shippards, some Chandlers, some Duns and some Elliots, some Mars, some Hoffrickers, some Polkinghorns, some Warmingtons. Gee, they're all there.
Yeah, I was talking to some of the stalwarts from Western United the other night, and they said it was their young players that really made the difference in the game. And talking to one of the Caneva players, he said they were fairly under strength and they battled hard for three quarters but really ran out of legs in that last quarter and got overpowered.
It looks that way. Only, better part of 8 goals down at three-quarter time, but they blew them away in that last term, 7 goals to zip. So far too good. Shippard, Chandler, Dunn, they all kicked 3. And for Kniber, it was Miller, the only multiple goal kicker with 2.
Yeah, and the final match was Wirral 11-11, 77 to beat Thevenard 5-5-35. A pretty mathematically correct scoreline there for Wirral. They got the job done against the black and white. And Brad, how are Wirral going? It looks like they've found a little bit of form, at least Simon Webb has.
Yeah, they had a good win. They probably had that one almost sewed up at quarter time with 6-3 to nothing. Yeah, they're looking impressive, and Thevenard have just got to try and improve and get their scoring going. I think that's what's lacking with them at the moment.
Certainly is. They need to find an avenue to goal with more than a multiple one-goal scorer at the moment. They just haven't got it. Threadgold Park and Kane. Now, Parkin, this is a great story because this lad's a 14-year-old. I reckon he might be young Wally. Dad is a manager of the Sejuna Foodland, and he's really emerging as a real young talent. Not only kicked a goal, but in his first game of senior football, he starred and was second-best player.
Yeah, one of those, a lot of lads that are back from college get a run in the A grade, and he was one of those. So, yeah, he's got a really bright future.
He certainly has. Dad, of course, from the Long Plains Tigers, and they got beaten by 30 goals on the weekend. I reckon they want Wally back playing there maybe in the next few weeks, but a good effort from the young gun, and well done to Dad and the family too on seeing their young boy get into senior football for his first game. We're going to have a look now at the reserve grade games, and just to call the scores here for us, Jace.
Yeah, let's go through them. The West Coast Hawks had a win, 8-3-51 to the Blues, 7-5-47. Much closer between Kniber and Western United in the Rezzies. It was Western United in the end, 7-4-46, Kniber 6-2-38. And again close in the Wirral-Thevenard game in the reserve, 7-8-50, the Bombers, and the Maggies 3-7, whatever that equates to, because you scrolled down on me.
I did, because I was getting to the 17s, and Brad, this grade of football's got some terrific results, some close couple of games here. West Coast Hawks 9-12 to beat the Blues 7-8. What do you make of this 17 and under competition, and just what the West Coast Hawks have brought, and of course what the Blues and some of the local clubs have got?
Yeah, there's probably a little bit of lack of numbers in this grade, but I did get to see the last quarter of the Hawks and Blues game, and they had reduced numbers. What they did is they'd cut the wings in and the ground was reduced, and it was quite a good game to watch with probably about 10 per side.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Can't argue with that.
No, I've called for this for a long time. Yep. It's a great idea. Kniber 7-7-49 beat Western United 6-6-42. Just showing that the Kniber's got a good future at that club.
Yeah, and some of those boys have been going up and playing A grade. So yeah, get that bit of A grade experience, and will really help them back in Colts as well, and good for their future.
Tell you what, they might need to have cut the ground in half here, although if they did, who knows what Wirral would have kicked. 24-9, 153, Thevenard, 1 goal straight 6. We don't like seeing scores like this, but gee whiz, the Bomber boys, not their fault. They're playing some good footy at the moment.
Yeah, well, Bombers got fairly well beaten the week before, so yeah, they must have found some players or some boys back from college. Yeah, they had a good win against the Sevy boys.
Yeah, well, absolutely. You belted them. It was a big one-sided affair. Let's go to the under-14 grade, and West Coast Hawks 7-6-48 beat the Blues 3-2-20, and a competitive game between Kniber and Western United, 6-5-41 to 1-2. And then Thevenard did to Wirral what Wirral did to Thevenard in the 70s.
Oh, we're just paying them back.
Oh, just was in the morning for 16-13, 109 to no score from the boys from Wirral. So it was a tough outing for the kiddies earlier on, but reduced numbers there too from what we can gather, and just playing those sorts of games where you've got the kids and you're trying to teach them what footy's really all about at these junior levels. Let's go to round 3 action, Brad, and we're going to get your thoughts on Western United playing Thevenard. This one is at Penong. This is a chance for them to be able to assert themselves with some percentage in this competition.
Yeah, their first game of the year up at Penong, and they are always a much better team up at Penong and hard to beat. So they are going to be fairly warm favourites going in against Thevenard, who are struggling at the moment.
They are. Westies by plenty. Speaking of West, we'll go to West Coast Hawks next at Pidnippy Oval. They welcome Kniber to town, and this should be an interesting clash. The Hawks will obviously start favourites on their home deck, but any word if Kniber are getting a few back, Brad?
I haven't had any word, so let's hope for them that they've got a few inclusions this week. It will be a really tough battle for them and their first trip to Peninsula Oval. So it'll be interesting to see how they go.
Yeah, it's a good road trip for them, and it's a tough outing. The Roosters have named some players at the moment. I noted that there is 4 Millers in a row on their team sheet. There is A Miller, D Miller, J Miller and S Miller. So there's a few...
There's not A Miller, there's 4 Millers.
Well, that's right. There's a lot of them, isn't there? There's a Ware and a Wells and a Willis and a Newchurch and a Wanganeen and a Dudley Jr. and a Betts and all of the great names.
The usual suspects, the big names in Eyre Peninsula footy. So there'll be some talent in that Roosters side, but I think there'll be plenty of talent in that West Coast Hawks side as well. And who can stop Colbung up forward is going to be the key. And Doling, of course, the two of them.
Yeah.
Two-pronged attack for the Hawks. So they will win, you would think, Brad.
Yes, I think they'll have a win. And it'll be Cody Colbung will be up against a lot of his former teammates, being a former Knibber player.
True.
Yeah, it's going to be a beauty. A Wirralur take on the Blues at Wirralur.
Match of the round.
Oh, this is going to be, I reckon, a beauty. These two clubs have had just a bit of niggle over the time because, of course, Smoky Bay joined with the Blues in Far West football. Now we're in Western Eyre. Wirralur Footy Club have had a few Smoky Bay people and a few farmers from Wirralur have got the old shack down at Smoky Bay. So there might be just a bit of niggle in this, Brad.
Oh, I think you're on the money. There's been certainly an exchange of players between the clubs over the years, and not always probably frowned upon by some clubs. So, yeah, it'll be an interesting game, and both with one win each, I reckon this will be a really, really good game.
I reckon it will be. Wirralur have named the 2 best boys in their senior side, I think, from what I can gather here. I'm just trying to get some teams up in front of us for this senior match, and that's interesting in itself. They've also got the 2 Gun boys are playing for them. The Kelsh lads are in this side too. A Pitaway name, the Watson boys there. Then on the Blues side, Clayton, he looks like a very good player. He's been very good over the last season or two. Brodie Chandler's in that side too, so Hartwee's a good player. And Williams, he's good, that to Charlie Williams. So, or Chris, it might be that's actually in this side. But, gee, there's a good mix of players on both sides. I just think Wirralur in this, I think it's the match of the day, as you said, Jace. I just got a feeling Wirralur might just be able to outplay the Blues.
Brad, what are your thoughts? I'm going to tip the Blues, actually.
I'm probably going to tip Wirralur only because it's on their home deck. I think they'll just be a little bit too strong.
Fair enough.
Right.
Gee whiz, your mates at the Blues won't like that, Brad.
You've got the old... oh, gee, Brad, he's on to you. But great to have you on board, Brad, the Secretary of the Western Eyre. A big weekend of football. Going to be warm conditions, but it's going to be fantastic to see the kids come out and play in the morning at the home deck matches at Penong, Pednippy and Wirralur, which means there are no matches this weekend in Ceduna, which is interesting in itself in Western Eyre. I guess that's something, to be proud about in bringing this comp together in the context, Brad?
Yeah, last week all the games were in Ceduna, and this week there's no games here, but just a slight correction, I'm the former secretary. I'm not secretary anymore.
There you go. Thanks for correcting us. Good man.
Good stuff.
All right, Brad, we'll let you get back to it, mate. Enjoy the footy this weekend. We look forward to catching up with you next week, and stay nice and hydrated, mate. It's going to be a warm one.
Yeah, certainly going to be nice and warm and great conditions for footy. Not so good for the farmers out there. Let's hope we get some rain soon.
Fingers crossed.
Brad Bowman talking Western Eyre football.
West Coast Ag, formerly Landmark West Coast, and still more than just ag supplies. They stock a large range of crop protection products, fertiliser, irrigation, fencing, stock feeds, shearing supplies, pet and animal health products, an agent for Bushman tanks and Aaron's field bins. They even have a range of hunting and clay target shooting ammo, scopes and binoculars. See the team for your grain marketing, agronomy and arranging delivery to and from your farm. Locally owned and operated, West Coast Ag, Redding Road, Streaky Bay. Phone 8626 1409.
Killers, the place to get everything you need to enjoy your time in Streaky Bay. You can hire stand-up paddleboards, kayaks and boats for maximum Streaky Bay enjoyment. Also fuel, bait, ice, tackle, fishing, boating and beach supplies and accessories. Check out the Shimano fishing rods, designed by Killers, the Whiting Killer and the Offshore Killer. And before you hit the water or the road, Pick up a Killer's delicious bacon and egg sandwich, the breakfast of champions, or a freshly made sandwich for lunch. Killers, 48 Wells Street, Streaky Bay.
Sejuna Metal Solutions. You bring the opportunity, they have the solutions. For all steel, aluminium and stainless steel fabrication and repairs, whether you're farming on the land or on the water, Sejuna Metal Solutions have the right equipment, supplies, knowledge and experience. And don't forget about their cranes. Ready for hire when you need that extra boost. Based in Sejuna with a mobile service that can come to you. Sejuna Metal Solutions. Solutions for all your metal needs. 70 Schwartz Road, Sejuna. Or call 8625 3997.
Get great Toyota value and you'll be still feeling it long after you drive away from the dealership. Like Hilux 4x4 SR5 double cab pickup with 2.9% finance to approved business applicants with a maximum finance term of 48 months.
Visit Sejuna Toyota on the corner of Eyre Highway and Hastings Road, Sejuna.
Oh, what a feeling. Toyota. Approved business applicants only. Terms and conditions apply. Offer ends April 30. Toyota Finance Australia Limited. AFSL and Australian Credit Licence 392536.
They're your local butcher, Streaky Bay Meat Service. A family-run butcher serving locals with local farm fresh produce from paddock to plate. From their range of small goods and metwurst made on site to their popular range of barbecue packs, hot dogs, their own streaky bacon and locally cured leg ham, Streaky Bay Meat Service take pride in 100% locally sourced and grown products, supplying supermarkets, hotels, clubs and cafes on the West Coast. And would like to thank locals, local businesses and travellers for their ongoing support. Open 8am to 5:30pm, Streaky Bay Meat Service, Wells Street, Streaky Bay.
The Flow FM Sports Show, Eastern Eyre and Great Flinders Football.
The Friday night sports show, and great to be able to bring you up to date with what's happening in Great Flinders. And you caught up with the big man, Chris Prime.
I did. It was always a lot of fun. It always is, talking Great Flinders footy, Flowman.
Here's what you had to say. It was a very interesting conversation.
Elliston and Western Districts, they took on Cummins-Kapini Cougars, and it was the Cougars boys too good at this level. They booted 9-8-62. Elliston and Western Districts, 1 goal straight, 6 points. So just a bit too good, Cougars.
Yeah, it was. But before we get into the footy, Jason, I just got to pull you up. Elliston and Western Districts played in the Midwest League 2 years ago. When they formed one club, they became Elliston District. So if we could just work on that on your side a bit, it would be good if we get the radio right.
Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting, actually. I'm glad you brought that up, Primey, because I'm actually reading the results here off Sporting Pulse, as you know. Now, I think the Sporting Pulse is the official website of SANFL Country Footy, is it not?
I believe so.
Yeah, it's interesting because when they list it as and I'll say it and the following, Elliston and Western Districts Football Club. But Elliston Districts is what we're rocking with, mate. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, look, we are talking Elliston Districts, and yep, right. That's what they are known as, and that's what we'll try and continue with.
All right, Elliston Districts it is, and whoever it is that's running Sporting Pulse, fix that from that end, please. Elliston and Districts is what we want, or Elliston Districts, is what we want to go with. So back to the footy for Elliston Districts. A young Gill was their only goal kicker, and we've got to say well done to Fleming. Another young Tonkin boy coming through. This is good news for Elliston. Davis, Gill and Pickett, and F. Daniel was named best, and I would imagine that's a youngster connected to Wes Daniel, would it not be? Send us an email, catch Primey at the footy, let him know which way. Wes, if that's your youngster or tied up to you somehow, send me an email, news@flowfm.com.au. Righto, Primey, let's move on to the Senior Colts clash between these two clubs. It was Cougars doing the number here, 18-13, 121, Elliston Districts, 8-4-52. Good to see a score kicked by Elliston Districts. Might not have got the win, but and they've given up a few, but if you're kicking goals yourself, it's always more fun, I think, Primey.
Oh, it is, and the interesting thing about that is they kicked 9 or 10 goals the week before against us, but to kick 8 and, you know, it makes it a competitive game, and have 18 kicked against you, probably a few things to work on in defence, but I would believe the Cougars boys will be pretty big and strong. So I think it's a good effort to get those on the board.
Anyone with the last name Foster is big and strong. He kicked 4 for Cougars. Gale, Turnbull and Phelps kicked 3. And for Elliston Districts, Newton 3, Fleming 2, Newton, Barker, Jervis and Lapsley Forest named best for the Districts crew. To the Rezzies now, and let's have a look at the scores here. This was a surprise because we know how strong Cougars seniors side is, the A-grade side. We'll get to that in a minute, but Elliston Districts 14-9-93, Cougars just the 3 behinds. Not necessarily surprised that Elliston Districts with their depth were able to win, but the margin has caught me off guard a little bit, I've got to say.
Yeah, look, this is one of the surprising games. Like Elliston Districts have a really strong B grade. But yeah, Cougars had a great result last week, and whether it's the ebbs and flows of work commitments and that, the Elliston Districts, I thought, might get over the line, but not by that margin.
Cougars goal kickers in this game. Moving on to their best players, Turnbull, Howe, Hazelgrove, Turnbull and Turnbull. Turnbull's galore there. For Elliston Districts, I'd love to tell you who the goal kickers and best players were, but they're not listed, so we can't. And we move on to the A-grade clash. Elliston Districts, of course, still searching for their first A-grade win in the competition, and they'll continue to be searching for their first win after Cougars beat them 11-16-82 to Elliston Districts 6-10-46. Very competitive game of football, though, and I think Elliston Districts would be quite happy to hang their hat on that, given that Cougars are one of the flag fancies.
Look, I think they were, and they stayed with them. They're even at quarter time, even at half time. There was only a couple of goals in it, and they battled hard, pretty tight third quarter, and Elliston District sort of just dropped off, being about 3 goals behind. And once again, we talked about it last week. That third last quarter just ran out a bit of puff, and Cougars got away a little bit in the end to win by 5 or 6 goals. So good, tough game. Difference a lot of the time is someone up forward to kick goals, and Yoey Wagner, I think, got away with another 6.
Yeah, Wagner booted 6, and he's on track for the ton, as we know, but there's still a long way to go in a season yet. We won't put the mocker on him just yet. Hazelgrove, Wander, and Forster named best for Cougars. Elliston District's got to talk young Cody Rosalia, someone who's no stranger to you guys in Great Flinders. I think they're based in Lincoln, the Rosalia clan. Get down to Mitre 10 and you might catch Mum. But he booted 2 goals and was named in their best, and he's a good young footballer, this boy.
Oh, look, he is, and he's very goal smart, but he's also quick around the pack. So he will be a good little footballer. Just got to keep working with him, and no doubt he's got a couple of good blokes up there to look after him, like with Scotty Felders and a couple of other blokes that show him a good way.
Yeah, those Elliston District boys will be relying a lot on Scotty Felders to move them forward and get their first win, but the girls have been going pretty well. I see that the competition this weekend, some good games in Great Flinders with the Elliston Districts having the bye. They do have the bye this week, Elliston Districts, Flowman, and I believe coming up this week, 2 games, United Yolanda and Ramblers, Eyre United and Lock, Elliston Districts, Cummins, Kippini and Tumby Bay all have the bye. Now, last week in Eastern Eyre, we should move into that because in Eastern Eyre football and netball, our Central Eyre United crew had the bye themselves last week, Flowman.
Okay, they had a chance to unveil a new Guernsey. It is a black, white and dark sort of blue. It's not a royal blue exactly. It's kind of a little bit like a blue, royal blue, but it's just a bit off of royal blue. It's not the old bulldog blue, though, is it? It's a different blue.
No, it's not. Should mention too, both Chris Prime and Jared Sampson, who you'll hear from in a moment, their full interviews, a podcast up on our Facebook page and our Twitter account as well. So Flow FM Australia, Flowman is where you need to go for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And last weekend in round 2, Kimber Districts 21-12 thrashed Ports, 3 goals 6, and Eastern Rangers 14-11, too good for Cal, 5 goals 4.
Indeed, a pretty standard, I think, results there. We predicted those. That game between Eastern Rangers and Cow was actually played on Anzac Day, Flowman.
That's great to see. We're going to have round 3 action. I know that you caught up with Jared about their first game at their home deck, effectively, with their new jumper.
First time game. Got our new kit to Brock up this week, so I'll have the Guernseys out, which will be great. Yeah, it's going to be a warm one, though. Reasonably windy, so see if the forecast can come back a few degrees come Saturday. Should be a good hit out. Very excited to get on the home deck and have a crack.
I'm not going to ask you to tip all year because clearly you don't go into a game thinking you're not going to win. But in terms of Cal, I mean, Piggott, they've got some other recruits to look out for, but that Piggott name is synonymous with Cal. What else do you know about them?
We'll be learning a bit this weekend, I think. So if you look at the clearances coming into the league, there's plenty to come into the Cow side. So some familiar names in there, and Franklin and obviously Piggott, but very much a learning curve, and this one's probably the biggest one of all because we just don't know. We know very little about them. So part of the excitement of it all, though, isn't it? So we're look forward to the challenge and hopefully that road trip inland plays in our favour at the end of the day.
Indeed, and I'll ask you to send us a photo of the strip too, so we can get that up on social media and let people see what the new strip looks like. But for those who aren't aware of the colours, it's blue, white. Is it a charcoal rather than black? Is that right?
No, it's black, mate.
It is
so,
black.
yeah, just a blue, white and black. So, looking forward to getting out there in the new kit on the weekend. It's all real now, mate.
Oh, yes, that new Guernsey that they'll be wearing out there with the new club on their home deck. Maybe the Power could have taken a bit of a leaf out of them. Maybe they've included that colour in their jersey for their prison bars, and they might have got it through.
Gee whiz, it's controversial stuff, though, man. Leave poor old Port Adelaide alone. They're doing it tough at the moment. But look, as far as the Central Eyre United crew goes, if you want to have a look at their new kit, we've got a photo of it up on our Facebook page, Flow FM Australia. And if you want to hear more from Jared Sampson, who previews and reviews every week whether Central Eyre United are involved or not, you can find that on our podcast, either up on our Spreaker account, wherever you get your podcasts from, or again via our social media channels.
Elders West Coast at Woodner and Seduna are your local real estate specialists. Talk to Elaine Seal about listing and selling rural, commercial and residential properties in Woodner, Elliston, Venus Bay, Seduna, Smoky Bay and Penong. For property management, see Donnie L. Smart, while Michael Seal is your insurance specialist on the EP. Ask about our rural bank facilities with friendly face-to-face service. Elders West Coast, your local banking, insurance and real estate specialists. Elders West Coast, supporting local communities.
Reap the benefits of concentrated, cost-effective liquid fertiliser this season with Liquid Ag. Locally manufactured on the Eyre Peninsula from the highest quality raw materials, supplying a range of sulfates, organic chelates, nitrogen solutions and water conditioners. Available now either individually or as a custom blend tailored to fit your farm's pre- and post-seeding nutritional requirements. With on-farm delivery, talk to Tim or Micah about Liquid Ag's fertiliser products. Visit liquidag.com.au.
Tackling the big talking points in country footy and netball.
His pass is magnificent.
The Friday Night Sports Show.
Here it comes.
With Jason the Flowman.
It's a grand sight.
On your colour of sporting country life. Flow FM.
You think wine and tranquility. We think crushing footy.
The Barossa Light and Gawler Footy League.
Yes, it's the Flow Friday Night Sports Show, repeated 8 a.m. till 10 a.m. on Saturday morning. And once, Flowman, you're in the bad books with the folk on the Eyre Peninsula. Just got a message here from Jared Sampson.
Yeah.
He says, correct Flowman for me. It's the exact same blue as our old one. He's not happy with you, Flowman. Not welcome in Woodner. Not welcome in Woodner. Let's talk Barossa Light and Gawler football now, though. We'll bring in Kim Vivian. Is that right? Where
yes.
is he? Is he there?
The great man. He's here with us. G'day, Kim. How are you?
G'day, guys. How you doing?
We're going real good. Tell you what, Kapunda went real good in the Mick and Shanahan, 17-17 to Freeling 6-3. Poor old Freeling. It's going to be a long season for the Redlegs.
Yes, it will be. Having said that, I think one sort of key point, I think Freeling actually played a 16-year-old in their A grade. Yep. Young Matsy, Jaden Matz, who I've sort of watched over the years, and is a pretty good talent. So they've got a couple of good kids coming through. That one in particular that I've watched with interest, and I reckon he's destined for bigger and better things. So there's little glimmers of hope there for them, but Kapunda are looking okay.
Yes, they are. Goal kickers galore. Dodd with 3. Mudge, Matters, Robinson kicked 2 each, and then a host of singles. I'm not going to go into those. For Freeling, the only multiple goal kicker was Scott, who booted 2. The big fella Koshel getting it done, not just in the ruck, but just dominating up forward, kicking a goal as well, and in their best, along with Dutchke, Lloyd and Muster. That's Freeling. For Kapunda, it was Woodkey, Matters, Evans and Ryan, I believe, in their best.
Yeah, they were pretty good, just as were Tanunda. You was shocked at this one, Kim? 28-11 to 2-8. Barossa Districts. This has been a powerful club in the last 15 years of BLNG. I haven't seen a side with a Sharpie playing with them still. Just been kicked off the oval by Justin Westhoff, who is probably still clearly good enough to be playing at a higher level than in the BLNG.
Yeah, look, it's interesting, and it's great for the competition that guys like Justin Westhoff come back and show their presence and come back to their grassroots clubs. Look, absolutely, he could be playing SANFL football, but I think he's probably achieved quite a lot with his footy career, and now it's more about going and enjoying his football with his brothers and his family up there, and that's fantastic for the club. Having a few AFL guys up there watching the game, but definitely Barossa Districts, they're potentially in for a tougher year than Freeling almost. I know that they haven't come up against one another yet, but Simon Wills has really got his work cut out there. They've lost a heap of players, and when you lose 4 or 5 quality players out of any side in this league, it makes a big difference, and it does impact your depth. But they've got really good juniors. I mean, you have a look at their junior results on the weekend, and they really flipped those results around. The shellackings that were handed out at senior level was sort of handed out by the Barossa District lads at junior level. So they've got some promising kids coming through, and hopefully they can hang on to a few of those and turn it around in a few years.
Appropriate that Justin Westhoff should kick 9 goals for a lovely German town like Tanunda. 9, and 7 for Trembath as well, I think it was. So what a 1-2 punch there.
Yeah.
Going beautifully. But the other game that we should talk about next was Williston, the Donnybrooks taking on South Gawler. And what about this? Andrew Jarman at the helm there of the Donnybrooks, 15-11-101. South Gawler, we thought they'd get up, but no. 13-10-88, a good win for the Donnybrooks.
Yeah, it was. Look, it's apart from probably the 2 sides we mentioned before, Freeling and Barossa Districts, the competition's wide open at the moment. I think anyone can beat any other side on any given day. Any side needs to come out and be really on their game on the day, or there is a chance that they'd walk away with a loss where they perhaps otherwise expected to have a win. So that was an interesting one, but the Donnybrooks are definitely around the money.
Yeah, Earlham's a good player, and so is Mackenzie. He kicked 4 and Walhu to kick 3 for the winners, whilst Cutting's a good player. Played with, I reckon, 7 clubs now across regional football. Barch booted 3, Cutting had 4. White, Cutting and Barch the better players in that game. The big one for Anzac Day was Angaston 16-10 to Newry 7-7. Kim, tell us why Angaston dominated Newry so much in this game.
Yeah, look, I think Angaston have probably got a side that's been together now for probably 3 years. So they're probably starting to really gel. They've got some consistency there. They've had some good juniors come through. It's probably they've put a lot into what they've developed there to date. So they're probably hoping to get some return on the work that they've put in. So I think that's probably paid dividends on the Anzac Day clash. And as I said, Newry perhaps just a bit off on the day, and you can't afford to be 5% off, or the other side's going to take it and run with it.
That is true. What a beauty of a round we've got coming up too. How about some of these matchups? First of all, let's have a look at this one at Angaston. Gee whiz, these guys know each other okay. Angaston and Tanunda, they'll go at it. And at home, do the Panthers start favourites, or Tanunda now with Justin Westhoff in that lineup, are they up and about?
Well, look, have we got confirmation that Justin is playing? Or
well, we're going to have a look while we're chatting, but obviously played last week. Hopefully he's playing fairly regularly, but I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, looking through the team sheet for you, I've got 2 Westhoffs, 3 Westhoffs.
His name there. Yep.
So, yes, number 39, Jay Westhoff is named.
Well, maybe based on that, we'll tip Tanunda then, just because I just honestly don't see that there'd be anyone that you can really... Any side has got anyone that can man up on Justin Westhoff. He's actually he's a hell of a lot taller than you think. He is a good ruckman size, but he can play as a wingman, half forward flank, back flank, full back, full forward. You name it, he's that versatile. So he's still going to have some pretty good fitness base from his AFL years. So I think that might be the difference on the day, but would probably be the only difference. If he wasn't playing, I'd tip Anguston.
Oh, gee, Williston get a chance to travel up to Williamstown. Oof. Oh, this is a big one. Jars hasn't won an away game yet. This is his chance to put that in the ledger.
I think you'd pencil that one in based on form and previous results. I think he can probably pencil that one in. So it's probably going to be another tough day at the office for the Barossa boys, but let's hope that they can be competitive and have a reasonable showing on Saturday.
While you're penciling that one in, you could probably do the same with the Lions. South Gawler taking on Freeling. They'll win, but the margin will be of interest here because Freeling, let's hope they improve.
Yeah, look, I think, as I said, they've been playing some young kids that have got a bit of promise, and again, you talk about man mountains of the competition. Koshal is one of those blokes that's just a giant and is probably worth 4 or 5 goals to them each week with the impact that he has on the game. So if he has a day out and the young lads get around it, as I say, Jaden Matz, if he's playing in the A's again tomorrow, he's one to look out for and watch. I rate him very highly. Look, I don't think they've got enough to get over the line, but let's again hope that they can put on a good showing.
Indeed, and I reckon it gets equal match of the round billing, this one. Flowman reckons it is the match of the round, but I think that Anguston-Tanunda game is pretty handy as well. Kapunda at home to Gawler Central, who have, I guess, sort of studded their way through the early part of the season. Kapunda far from it. I reckon they start favourites here, the Bombers, almost.
Yeah, look, probably the home ground advantage. I think my guys are, I think the coaching staff, looked early at it in the year, and one of the trial game performances that they turned out, and then obviously the Williston game we're in that point where the boys thought that they were in a bit of a premiership hangover. They need to shrug that off because obviously there's a lot of ground to make up if you win one, lose one, win one, lose one, and you sort of end up middle rung halfway through the year, and it's hard to come back from there. So, the boys need to be on their game because, Kapunda, as I said a couple of weeks ago, at home, very tough to beat, and probably starting out the season, we're probably a little bit underrated as to where they are. So, look, I reckon it'll only be maybe 2 or 3 goals that'll separate either side at the end of the day, and I couldn't say with any confidence that Gawler Central were going to win it. I think it's going to be a tough battle.
What a rip around. A couple of big games, yeah.
And this for the very, very high position on the ladder because Tanunda, Anguston, Kapunda have come back with Dodd playing some good football, the Sturt boy, and Gawler Central have got a good list, and of course coming off the premiership last year. Gee, Kim, it's exciting times in BLNG, and great to have you on board bringing it to us, and we look forward to your comments again next week.
Thanks, guys. No problems.
Cad's Truck and Diesel have specialised in all facets of truck, bus and four-wheel drive diesel engines repairs and servicing. The team at Cad's takes pride in quality and thorough workmanship, customer service and competitive prices. Qualified and experienced mechanics operate a large workshop with modern equipment and technology, including a truck brake tester and suspension shaker. Proudly SA owned. See the boys keeping you and your business on the road. Cad's Truck and Diesel, Lot 55, Stockwell Road, Anguston. Call 85642 470 or visit cadstruckanddiesel.com.au.
Tackle there. Oh, what a great leg.
York Peninsula Footy.
It's the Flow Friday Night Sports Show. It's time to have a look at your Peninsula football results from last week. No Sammy Jacobs this week, Flowman, so you'll have to deal with me.
Oh, yes, well, he's on the end of the pier at the jetty there, I reckon. They're fishing because they were absolutely belted by the CMS Crows. 20 goals, 12 to 5-4. They have the bye this weekend, so probably he is doing a spot of fishing.
Fair enough, too. Moonta 13-15-93 over Central York 7-7-49. The thriller, though, was on the Saturday at Wallaroo, where the home side, 9-6-60, were pretty good, but not quite good enough. Southern Eagles, 9-8-62, beat them by 2 points, Flowman.
Oh, they did in the big match for the Anzac Day. The clash between Baskerville and Butte, two old foes, 9-13-67 to a beaten Butte, 7-8-50.
Let's move into this week's games in York Peninsula footy. You mentioned Drossen have the bye. Well, at Baskerville, Parsky take on Moota, the Southern Eagles against Kadina, Flowman.
Yeah, and the CMS Crows play Wallaroo, and Butte at the home deck against Central York. I reckon that'll be the game of the round.
Yes, I do too. Let's move on to Adelaide Plains football now. Oh, I'm not sure how to say this. Extraordinary results last week.
Yep.
Let's go to the Hamley Bridge game first. Angle Vale, 16-12-108, defeated Hamley Bridge 10-11-71. That was a very interesting game of football, Flowman.
Yeah, a good win for Angle Vale. These two are the cellar dwellers from the previous year, as you remember, but in previous few years. But they've both come up in the rankings, and I wouldn't be surprised both sides will certainly push for a fourth place on the ladder if they can get it right. Got to win these sorts of games against each other to get there. 2L 16-9 beat Balaclava 5-8. Gee, Balaclava, a really poor start to the season for the Peckers. And Virginia 12-11-83 beat Hummocks 7-12-54. Hummocks defending the 2019 title. If you count the 2020 as a different season where Malala won that, then you'd say that Hummocks have dropped off this year. But, gee, Malala, premiers in 2020. Oh, what about this?
United probably should have dug some trenches at about centre-half back because Malala, they bombed them all afternoon. 27-16, 178. United 2-2-14.
Yeah, not a lot of fight in that Anzac clash.
Ooh, that's a good way of looking at it, Flowman. Let's have a look at some of these games coming up this weekend, though, in Adelaide Plains footy. At Angle Vale Oval, you bet your bottom dollar Angle Vale will pummel United this week.
Hamley Bridge might beat Balaclava the first time in a number of seasons. That will happen. Malala play Hummocks. A good game, but Malala at home should win. And Virginia take on 2Ls in the old derby of the Adelaide Plains. This is the real one where they'll come out in their droves, and I'm led to believe there's going to be a huge crowd at Virginia Oval for this game. A lot of different things happening. I think some commemorative type things going to be unveiled there for this game of football.
Well, not just that, got to say hats off. In fact, if you listen to our Great Flinders podcast, you'll listen to the greatest goal kicker in South Australian football history, Chris Prime, just doffed the cap, so to speak. Well, he might have a cat to doff, but he doffed the cap to the great goal kicker from Virginia who kicked 1,000 goals or brought up his 1,000th goal last week. And we actually talked to Prime about whether or not he could be caught.
Yeah, Brendan Nicholas, a great achievement from him, and we're looking forward to seeing how he goes this week. He is an absolute star, but 7 goals last week. I think it might have kicked maybe 5 last week, was it? And a couple the week before. But
7 for the season so far. Yeah.
He's going to be right up there. It is a good to be able to see him in action. He is a real star of that competition.
Yep. Let's talk now about
Northern Areas?
Northern Areas football. That's right. Now, the great Graham Spud Mackay. I caught up with him last night. The full podcast, again, up on our social media channels. But let's have a look at what his thoughts were on his boys Jamestown Peterborough's performance last week. Talk about spankings. Spud saw one of the great ones last week. It is the Flow Friday Night Sports Show, and let's have a look now at what's been going on in Northern Areas footy. The great Graham Spud Mackay is looking to the sky for some rain, but not getting any of that. He's turned his attention to the footy. How are you, Spud?
G'day, Jace. Yeah, I don't know whether it's turning my attention to the footy was a great idea either. He didn't have a great Saturday.
Well, probably not. It was raining goals at Oraroo, and I guess that's where we might as well start. Unfortunately, no precipitation from the sky, but plenty of footballs going through the big sticks down the Oraroo end, not so much down at the Jamestown Peterborough end, mate. Tell us about this one.
Yeah, look, it was just a very poor performance. Oraroo kicked off in the first quarter and they had 9-4 on the board, and Peterborough couldn't manage to even kick 8 points. So Chris Stacey at quarter time was fairly vocal, not happy with the start, but it didn't help much because in the second quarter they kicked another 9. So at 18-10 to 1-1 at half time. And I guess the only thing you could say was the third quarter was a little bit better because Oraroo only managed about 4 goals, 6 in the third quarter to Jamestown Peterborough's 1-2, but then after a bit of a rev up at 3/4 time, they've come home with 10 goals, and so it was just not the sort of result you want to see. Just too big a margin, but unfortunately, they'll just have Jamestown Peterborough will just have to stick at it, and hopefully they'll sort of learn from that one and give a better effort for their coach this week.
Well, let's hope so. The final scores, as Spud's pointed out there, they finished out at this: 32-21, 213 to Jamestown Peterborough, 2-3-15. That's a 198-point margin. Goodness gracious me. Homsch booted 6, Bowman 6, Reid 5, and I'm going to stop there, otherwise we'll be here all day. Hughes, Nicholas, Lee and Reid named best for Orroroo. And for Jamestown Peterborough, White, Hall, Cunningham and Bray all tried hard. White and Robinson with their goal kickers on the day. Tell us about White. This guy looks like he can seriously go.
Matt White, he's good. And I should just mention that Darren Hughes from Orroroo won the Anzac medal in this match too. So I'll give you the other medal winners as we go.
Sure.
So Matt White's a good customer, showing a fair bit of promise, and I reckon he's one that can sort of develop, and then he just needs a few of the other younger ones to come along with him.
All right, we will move on and we'll head to Gladstone there. This is where the close one was, and it was Southern Flinders in the end over BMW. They got the money 11-5-71 to BMW 7-7-49. A pretty tight contest for 3 quarters, with Southern Flinders only really clearing out in the last term, right?
Yes, that's correct. BMW actually led it at half-time but weren't able to sustain it. But Southern Flinders did come home in the last quarter there with 4 goals to run away from BMW. So this was a bit of a surprise. We didn't actually, we didn't really know exactly how Southern Flinders were going to stand up against the better opposition, because we'd seen them the first week against Jamestown Peterborough, and we wanted to just see them up against better opposition. But they've proved that they have picked up some players that are sort of a big benefit to them. Scotty Galbraith is playing well, so that sort of means that they can probably look forward now to cementing on this and perhaps now looking to see what they can do against some of the sides that finished above them last year.
Yeah, absolutely. Zeke Kay is an interesting pickup as well. Originally an EP boy, I think, from the Lock area, but has played some footy now with Southern Flinders for a bit, I think. So
yes, he has. Yeah, he plays in the back line. A really good player too. A solid defender for them.
Yeah, absolutely is helping them out. But Amy, Bruce and Kay named in their best, along with the 2 Kanga boys and Wolford for BMW. Amy booted 4 up front, Coombe 2, and our man Christopherson booted 2 goals for BMW. Who was the medal winner here?
Yeah, well, the lad that kicked 4 goals, Tyson Amy, managed to get the Anzac medal there, so well done to Tyson.
Yeah, absolutely. That's an honour. The final match of the round was Broughton Mundura heading to Crystal Brook, and the Chooks of Crystal Brook were plucked 7-11-53. Broughton Mundura 16-13-109. Way too good, Broughton Mundura. They'd be pretty pleased with this win.
Yes, they rebounded after their first week's loss to Orroroo. It wasn't a lot in it at half time, 3 goals. But then they had a really good third quarter and whizzed on 7 goals. So the last quarter was just a bit of even flow between both sides, 3 goals apiece. So, Crystal Brook, they now need to sort of regroup a little bit too, because they would have liked to have won that one on their home ground. Tommy Whelan was the AP Sullivan medal winner. That's the only medal that's named. The other 2 aren't. They're just called Anzac medals. So AP Sullivan is actually originally from Crystal Brook. So well done to Tommy Whelan. He's a really good defender for Broughton Mundura.
And there you go, Flowman, the great Graham Spud Mackay. We will catch up with him again in the future, but let's have a look at this week's game, shall we?
Yeah, Crystal Brook get Orroroo at the Brook, and a closely matched 2 sides here. I just got a feeling that we might see Orroroo get up and win this. Broughton Mundura take on Southern Flinders in the next game. This is going to be a beauty. Broughton Mundura might just start favourites in this competition because they're at their home deck. And Bullaroo Melrose Wilmington take on Jamestown Peterborough, and if ever the boys voice of the Lions, had a chance to give the black and white an absolute pasting. I reckon at Wilmington they might do that this weekend.
Indeed. It is the Flow Friday Night Sports Show. More to come. Remember, we are repeated 8 a.m. till 10 a.m. on Saturday morning.
Since 1974, Tundari have been providing parts and service for all types of farm machinery, including tractors, haymaking, spray equipment, vineyard equipment, and general merchandise used by farmers. Surrounded by a diverse range of agriculture, the team at Tundari know and understand the land, along with the experience and expertise you need. Agents for BOC gases, white span sheds, FMR, high-tech fertilisers, and Trans Tank International. Call in soon, see the showroom and impressive on-site displays, or visit tundari.com.au. Tundari Sales and Service, Barossa Valley Way, Gawler East.
Farming has become extremely complex, and a year's work can be devastated by incorrect decisions. AW Vater & Co. have over 50 years of agronomy and over 60 years industry experience, offering farmers expert support for cropping decisions with the confidence and peace of mind to grow better crops. Affiliates with industry leaders like GRDC, industry authorities and suppliers, you'll receive helpful and honest advice to create a prosperous farm. Contact family-owned and operated AW Vater & Co. today. Where you're not a number, you're part of the family. Saddleworth, Kadina, or visit awvater.com.au.
In the Mid-North, what's bigger than our legendary sheep and wool brands? On Saturday, we're playing for more than sheep stations. Northeastern Football League.
Yes, it's the Flow Friday Night Sports Show, repeated 8 a.m, 10 a.m, Saturday morning. And I tell you what, before we get into Northeastern footy, we're going to have a look at that in a moment, Flowman. But Clayton Bester, now, he's been in and out of the studio. He looks after us. Yes. He does a good job, but he loves to cook. Now, we had some toasted sangers earlier on, didn't we?
Oh, they're magnificent.
They were pretty good.
Tell you what.
He baked me up one that I'd tell you what, that was to die for. But he goes all right with the air fryer as well. And I know he's been eyeing one of these off. We've got two of them that we're giving away at the moment, by the way.
Oh, really?
If you haven't registered yet, you should via our Facebook page. All you need to do is go to our Facebook page, Flow FM Australia, and while you're there, tell us about your best mum cooking tip, something that you've taken from mum and used to this day when you cook whatever it is that you cook. Clayton Bester, I'd love to know some of his cooking tips, but I've got a good one from mum.
Yep.
I'll tell you that next week, though.
All right, on Mother's Day Eve, she certainly didn't buy you that horrible yellow top that you're wearing at the moment. Or did she? Maybe I'm in trouble with your mum. North Clare 11-13-79 beats South Clare 6-8-44 in the Derby or the Derby or the showdown, or is that your mum texting? Yep. Oh, I'll tell you what, they are going good, the Roosters. They've beaten the D's. They haven't done that for a while, and they are absolutely celebrating after a big win.
I'm going to get to mum's text later. They are celebrating after a big win. So what was that? 11-13-79, 6-8-44. Yep. Brown 3, Paulie 3, and Falconer 3 goals for the losers. Well, I won't say losers. South Clare, that's not nice. Densley, I think it is. Yep. Murphy, Anderson, and Reynolds named best for South Clare. Rowe, Helbig, O'Neill, and Panaho named best for North Clare. So they're going beautifully.
Yeah, the two Panahos were going beautifully there, and today RSMU going beautifully. 13-11-89 to Midman 7-8-50. And gee, that the Eagles have promised a bit, but RSMU, the Hawks, have said to those bigger birds, no way, you big birds, we are the little ones and we're going to win.
Unfortunately, the Eagle has landed. They were up and about last year, but this particular Eagle has landed. The Hawk is flying away. Milne 3, Slee 2, Clark 2 for RSMU, and Sando booted 2, backed 2 Sandos booted 2. That's not confusing at all. Wolford, Rusker, Sando and Latchford named best for Min-Man, Krause, Milne, Griffiths and Clark for RSMU.
Yeah, the big Shahinga in the better placement. What about this? Have we got the emergence of a really competitive Southern Saints 17-911 to thrash Blythe Snowtown 3-3-21?
Where have the Cats gone? They have fallen off the planet in this competition, haven't they? Bruce, Ottens, Carling their best. They were the goal kickers. Pratt, Braxton and Fullis named the best for Blythe Snowtown. Too much to too few. For the Southern Saints, they shared it around. Hardy booted 4, Pryor booted 4, Lorna booted 4, Eagle 3, and I'll leave it there. Pryor, Voigt and Kimpson, along with Lorna named in their best. The Southern Saints are flying.
Yeah, they are. And Clinton Voigt's a good player, and Matt Pryor's played at a high level. The two Schmidt boys can go, and this is a good side with Mosey, Lorna, and the Mid-Chalk, all sorts of good names now. This side, I reckon, is going to play finals, and don't be surprised if they're not there when it's late in September. The Saints, I've given the big tip early, but 16-12-108 to BSR. I reckon they'll be here late in September. 8-5 to the BBH. Got to say, I thought that was a credible effort from the BBH Rams against the Premier side of last year.
Very credible. Webster was good up front, booted 3, Roberts 2, and of course H. Webster was named the best. C. Webster was the man kicking the goals, and he was also named in the best. In between them, Newton, Smythe and Marshall. But for the winners, BSR, Moller 4, Slade 4, Cousins 3, Goss booted 2, Moller, Wilsden, Heinges and Slade named in their best.
They were in round 2. Action gets going this week, and it's BBH and Blythe Snowtown both playing off at the moment at the lower part of the table. And I'll tell you what, I reckon at Borough, the BBH Rams, I think they'll beat the Cats.
Yep, the Silo boys will get the job done there. Don't worry about that. It's Clare. It's South taking on BSR. Watch the Tigers roar here. They'll win that.
I reckon it's a good one, though. Gee, the Clare Oval, a lot of big crowd in that one. Minman play North Clare. Gee, after North's form last week, I'm not sure. Mintaro, the home deck. Minman need to respond. I'll tip the Eagles in a close one.
Yeah, I think so too. And I'll tell you what, match of the round, this one. Don't worry about that. At Robertstown, the Southern Saints, they're up and about. The Eagles are flying as well. RSMU, pick a winner here at your own peril. I might go with the Saints at Robertstown.
I reckon this is going to be a beauty. RSMU have had the measure of the Southern Saints, including 2 grand final wins over them a couple of years, or 3 or 4 years back, probably 5 years back, actually, if we go back. It's going to be a huge weekend. I'll go at
Stop
Robertstown.
Texting, Mum. I'll tell him, all right?
She's angry. That yellow top has got a bit of conversation going. Have a look at Flow from Australia's Facebook page for the Mother's Day competition, and also to see Jason's yellow top. It's more to come here. The Big Beaver up in the Riverland Football League report.
Distributors is the name for great sales and excellent service in the agricultural industry. And after 80 years in the business, we know exactly how to provide for your needs. No matter how big or small, the team at WSB can offer a comprehensive range of sales, parts and service across multiple brands to keep you ahead of the game. See for yourself. For all your agricultural needs and the most up-to-date information, drop into the team at one of our WSB Distributors dealerships in Clare, Jamestown, Saddleworth and Karoonda.
Parky's Hardware Borough are your local Thrifty Link store, supporting your local community. Servicing the hardware needs of the Borough region with expert, easy-to-understand advice from locals you know and trust. With a large range of builders' hardware, supplies, paint for both trade and retail, plus new kitchen and flooring displays with appliances on show. Looking for your hardware solution at a competitive price? Look no further than the store that supports your local community. Parky's Hardware Borough, 20 Commercial Street.
Cooper's Butchers in Borough are proudly local, supporting the community by employing people in the Borough region and supplying you with fresh, quality produce, including their famous Saltbush Hogget and locally sourced Wonderbar lamb, barbecue packs, great roasts for winter, and all your ham, pork, bacon, fish and poultry favourites. Proudly supporting the BBH Football and Netball Club and proudly supporting you. Drop into Cooper's Butchers today for a taste of local. 2 Market Square, Borough.
Step out of that mirage and into Tam's White Hart Garage. They've been around so long, 103 years and still going strong. There to lend a hand to the man on the land for all diesel and petrol repairs, showing you who really cares. Welding, repairing and fabricating, take it to Tam's before it gets frustrating. 889 22281. Tam's White Hart Garage gets it done. 9 Young Street, Borough. Get there in a hurry.
Houseboats, river locks, the Big Orange and Lemons. Lock it in. It's time for the Riverland Football League.
Friday night sport show and Jace, we got that big man from the Riverland, the Quakery great, Beaver Venning joins us. Hey Beaver, how are you?
G'day boys, how are you?
Beaver, you going well, mate?
Yeah, very well, mate. Good to be back playing footy again.
It is. No hard stopper for your game, the Wakery boys, but at Loxton North, something slightly different there. The first draw of the season, if you don't mind. What's going on here?
Yeah, I guess none of us picked that last week. What a ripping game of footy and great for the Riverland Football League in general to have, two teams go at it and have a draw. And, Loxton North, I think they're probably, in my opinion, might have slid back a little bit from the previous years. They lost guys like Ryan Proud, Justin Proud playing in the B grade. Guys like Michael Arnold come up to fill in, and Pickles is nearly 40. So I picked Barmer last week and thought Barmer might have had him with some of the players they've got back in. But yeah, what a ripping game of footy, 10-16, 76 to 11-10, 76. Panthers obviously probably kicked straighter and they would have won the game. Joel Wursel, best for them. Michael Scott had a good game as well. Schutz, Voigt, Hampel and Kent, the other better players. For Barmer Monash, Butterworth back in the team now. He got best. Mason Middleton kicked 4 as well, got third best. Fairley, Ben Fisher back from West Adelaide and Bannister. So good game of footy here, and Loxton North probably wish they kicked a bit straighter.
I reckon they did. I tell you what, Loxton, the big surprise here, Jace. Renmark won the premiership back here in 2019. Now, I thought, starting the season, the Rovers here, but Beaver, Loxton have come up and beat them by 2 goals.
Yeah. Look, I knew Loxton had improved, and you can see it from a couple of the recruits they've got. Some of the younger guys they got back in their side. But did I expect them to beat Renmark on the weekend? And the answer is definitely not. So, fantastic effort by Loxton. They've been down, the bottom of the ladder for quite a few years now, and it's great to see them bounce back and make a huge upset. And it's great for the competition to have 2 real close games of footy. Gucci back in for Loxton, he was best. John Fisher had a good game. Evans, one of their key recruits, third best. Kasolki, one of their young ones, 4th. Will and Roche, so I'm rounding him out. For Renmark, Agostino, back from West Adelaide, he got best. Wolford, we know Matty, very, very consistent footballer. Anspach, Garcher in the ruck, Wolford and Austin, they're other better players. Loxton, Will kicked 4, Nathan Flight 3, Little and Gucci 2. And for Renmark, Agostino kicked 3, Gaylard, Austin, Zunic 2. So, look, Rovers 10-10, missed a few. Tigers kicked straight, kicked 13-4, and that's the difference at the end of the day.
It was, and Beaver, unfortunately, they were the only 2 close games of the round because your boys decided enough was enough. 17-10-1-12, Berry, 5-4-34. Are you that good, or are Berry struggling?
We're pretty good. We're a good side. Berry, I thought they were better than what they have been in the past. I thought there's definitely some good signs there for them, a few of their younger ones. They had a few out as well. Big Mumford, Big Sutherland didn't play. Tom Jolly didn't play. One of their ex-captains, Carell, didn't play. So there's a few to come back into their side as well. So they had a crack. They came out in that first quarter, and they dominated probably the first 5-10 minutes. It seemed to be down their forward line a lot, but they didn't kick those 3 goals that they had a shot at, and we went down and kicked 3-4 in the later part of the first quarter, and then kicked away from there. Moons, new recruit for us, was fantastic. Got best and kicked 4. Gaiman across half-back was fantastic. Exton on the wing. Our new ruckman, Matty Taylor, was fantastic as well. Griggs and Miller across half-forward did their bit. For Berry, Krieger, Penaluna, Teasdale was great for them. Hawkins, Grieger and Rosenzweig. Goal kickers, like I mentioned, Moons kicked 4. Scotty Mumford kicked 4. Griggs 2. The rest singles. Berry, Reece Lehman did his best with a couple, the rest singles. So, now look, they did improve Berry, but obviously they've come up against Wakery, a very strong side, and an easy win in the end for the Magpies.
All right, now, Beaver, let's get to this week's matches, and then we'll go to some independent. But I know that one of your players is celebrating 450 A and B grade senior matches. That is a lot of games of footy, Beaver.
Yeah, I know it is. And Brooke Hode, legend of the club, he's played 213 A-grade games, 237 B-grade games, plays his 450th tomorrow. He's a life member, represented Interleague 8 times, 7 times country champs, was captain of one of those sides, won 4 A-grade premierships, 4 B-grade premierships, and was the only player in our club to win a flag in every grade. So one of the nicest blokes I've ever met, mate. So, good luck to Hody tomorrow.
All right, Loxton take you on. They're in some form right now, so the legend might need to step up even to the plate and push for selection in the seniors because they're looking okay, Loxton, at the moment.
No, they are. And, we're going to have to come out and, play some good footy to go with them. All reports are fantastic. They hit the ball hard on the weekend and, they've got some real good players in there now with Gucci and the Evans boys. The other Evans didn't play last week. He's in for his first game, so it'll be good to see how they go. Flighty kicked a few up forward. Raph Little up forward. Will kicked 4 last week. So, we've got a bit, to take him out. But I think for us, we'll be looking at the guys up forward. Miller, Braun's gone forward now as well. Moons had a few last week. Interesting in the ruck, big Craig Fisher up against Matty Taylor. And it's going to be a crap of a day. I think it's 29 and blowing its guts. So, it could go either way here. But, hopefully, obviously, Wakery, hopefully they've got enough in the tank, obviously. But, we're not taking these guys lightly. They've had a great win against Renmark. So, we'll be out there to beat them for sure.
Busiest blokes on the day will be the Water Boys. Don't worry about that. Lakeside Oval, Beaver, a couple of sides licking their wounds after last week. Barbara, Monash and Renmark. Who gets the money here?
Oh, look, you can't still go against Renmark at the moment. They're proven side from a couple of years ago. Barmer have definitely improved and pick up some key players. I mean, Butterworth's a huge in for them in the midfield. I see Smith's back in this week as well. He didn't play last week, so that's good for them. Mason Middleton kicked 4 last week, so they'll probably put Steed or Charlton to him from Renmark. Should be a cracker of a game. Roos hard to always beat at home, but I'm just going to lean towards Renmark until I see Barmer and Locks North from them in the flesh. I'm going to stick with Renmark to get that win.
And the last game of the round will be at Berry, where the Demons will need to improve. Loxton North are in some form. The Panthers probably start favourites.
Yeah, I think they will after, what they did to Barmer and Monash last week. Berry, like I said, have improved. They do get Jason Sutherland back this week. I see Correll's back in this week as well. So that's a couple of big ins for them. Look, they'll have to try and curtail. I see Lockie Henschke's named at full forward, so he's a good up-and-coming young fellow who'll take some marks and kick some goals. Where are Berry going to get their goals from? Well, they'll probably look to someone like Pumper, who's come in this week, and Reece Lehman again. But so it should be a good game. I think it'll be closer, than our game last week. But I'm going to stick with Loxton North after last week's performance to get up in this one.
All right, the independent competition last week, round 1 had Sedan Cambrai over Cobb Dogler 12-11 to 10-9. A big win for the boys from Ramco 12-10 over Paringa 6-6. But what about Blanchetown Swanreach? 30 goals, 12-192 to Brownswell 6-6-42. And if you don't mind, John Anthony has kicked 16 goals, Beaver.
Yeah, no, it's interesting, isn't it? He played for Ramco a few years ago and obviously now gone to Blanchetown and come out and kick 16 goals in any game of footy is a great effort. So obviously the Bombers are struggling a little bit this year, Brownswell, but Blanchetown up and about, and good luck to him.
He did a Jason Dunstall. Good stuff, young man. Cobb Dogler have the bye coming up. My boys, Cobby. Yep. But Wonka back in action. They will take on the rampaging Blanchetown Swanreach. Who do you like here, Beaver?
Oh, look, I guess, looking at last week, they're going to have to go to Anthony, aren't they, and shut him down. Wonka, they got the Hample boys there, so they'll be handy for them. Shaw's is still going around, so he'll be trying to kick some goals. But I think going on last week's performance, we'll back in Blanchetown Swanreach to win that one.
Paringa Brownswell should win it comfortably. Sedan Cambrai play Ramco. Tell us who you think will win this clash, because a couple of good sides coming off wins.
Yeah, this is a ripper, and this could be what I believe might be the grand finalists at the end of the year too. Not trying to, the rest of the bet already, but look, Ramco definitely recruited well, and I mean, Hawke back in there now kicking goals is great for Ramco. Nathan Hart across halfback does his best. Sedan Cambrai, come off a good win last week against Cobby, who have really recruited well. So, look, I'll back Ramco in to win this one away.
Oh, exciting times. I tell you what, it's a bright future for Riverland football still as we watch both divisions, independent and the senior grade out of the Riverland play. And Beaver, we look forward to your comments next week on Riverland Footy.